Hello class, and it's finally time to get going somewhere in this game. Although there are plenty of other places we could go, like to the Undead Blacksmith or grab the parrying dagger from Nulando. We won't be using these things for a while yet, so we're just going to move on here. So this is the first real enemy encounter you're supposed to find. There's actually quite a few people here, so watch your step. So like I said, the Great Scythe is a very viable weapon, and when you hit an enemy, you can see that they are staggered. This prevents them from attacking you and results in the thing I'd like to call a stun lock. Basically means that they can't do anything against you. I'm going to demonstrate the move set here. Pretty much the two-handed and one-handed attacks have the same reach and effects, although the two-handed heavy attack is in fact a run attack that gives you much greater reach. And the jump attack just makes you look really, really awesome. And there's the kick. Most weapons have kicks, except some rapiers, where the kick attack just penetrates the shield. And the jump attack still makes you look awesome. Now, as you can see, that guy's been throwing fire bombs down at us. They have a limited range, and not all shields. In fact, I don't think any shield has a 100% fire resistance, which means you will take damage, even if you're blocking this. So we're just going to go ahead and take a risk and grab this soul item here, and go ahead and run up and kill that firebomb guy. So there's actually another guy with an axe there, but he doesn't have a shield, so he can't even slightly block your attacks. Now see, I took damage from that firebomb there, and although it negated a little bit, I still took some damage when I paused there. And there. And he falls off the cliff, and another guy runs down from up there. That is one of their favorite attacks. They just spam attack you until they run out of stamina. That can get really annoying after a while. So we're gonna run down here and grab another soul item. There is a lot of soul items in this game, or at least in the early bits. Now you may have noticed that there is a bridge that there is a spot to jump onto. Now switching to a lighter set of armor, like equipping that, it's this mid-roll, and we can do a jump, like I explained earlier, and grab that. And just be very careful on these ledges. It's very simple to fall off. The Ring of Sacrifice. Basically, when you have that ring equipped and you die, the ring is destroyed, but you retain all your souls and humanity. It's very good for suicide runs, in my opinion. And jumps are very easy to mess up like that. So we're gonna go ahead and run back, and we will show you what happens when you die normally, instead of on a suicide run where you have no chance of getting your stuff back. Let's just go ahead and go back up. As you can see, the loot you grabbed in your previous life doesn't respawn because you have held on to it. So any loot we grabbed stays with us. As you can see, our stuff is on that bridge, but if we were to jump back on that bridge and grab it, we would regain all of our lost souls and humanity. But since we didn't really have that much, and going back on the bridge would probably just result in us dying again, we're not going to do that. So that was a parry attack. It's just so fun, but it's really hard to pull off for people who are just getting into the game. And I would not recommend trying that unless you're confident in your abilities. There we go. And as you can see, that Great Scythe's reach allowed me to reach that guy from behind. Now, as you can see, when you get hit enough with a high poise armor set, you do get staggered. So most boss attacks do stagger, of course. It's good to be wise, and try to stay away from enemies anyway. Now, in case you're wondering why I stopped randomly, that was because my controller had run out of batteries. So I stopped and grabbed some. Now this is a closed corridor, so it's generally wise to use the quick attack, even though the strong attack can apparently go through walls. Yeah, this is a abnormally large weapon, so it clips through mostly everything. Now this is a shortcut door that leads right back here. It doesn't open from this side though, to prevent you from getting access to late game areas early on. Anyway, these are player-written messages. I'll talk more about them when we get the thing we need to write our messages. But when you rate up a message, it gets you a free humanity, which is quite nice in my opinion. So that was I think it was a counterattack. So when you attack them, when they're in their attack animation, you get a little bit of extra damage. Now we're going to show you where some of the secret loot is. So go ahead and jump down there, and I tried to do a plunging attack and missed. So go ahead and run down. I'll be showing you all the secret loot in this area that I can. And they will come up from the ledges. Yeah. So there's nothing really in this area, but you can roll into barrels and break them if you want to, just to be safe. So walk into this room. It's really quite bare here. And here I'm going to exploit a little secret. If you attack these guys while they're still on the ledge, they fall down and die instantly. It's pretty nice. Anyway, I'm about to show you guys probably the most worthwhile piece of loot you'll ever get in this area. It's actually really, really awesome. Watch and wait. And it's a pile of rubbish. Congratulations. It's going to be sitting in your inventory for a while until I show you who to give it to. And it's really not all that interesting even when you do get it to someone, but, well, it's always worth a couple hundred souls from Framped, so... Oh, yeah, we'll talk about him more later. He's the NPC you sell things to. And there's another humanity. You're going to want to conserve these, so I'll talk about them more at the end of this episode. So don't just go around, like, just spam using them, because it probably wouldn't be smart. Anyway, this guy throws firebombs. These guys can get really annoying after a while, but luckily our shield has a fairly high fire resistance, so... And the backstab. Yeah. So this is a fog gate. You can walk through them. They mostly lead to boss fights, but when they don't, they just disappear behind you, as you can see. And another soul item. Whoopity-doo. And you can't make that jump no matter how hard you try. It's just impossible. There is a way to get to it. And here is where one of my friends just turned around and ran. But don't worry about it too much. He'll only bother you after you beat the Taurus Demon. Which is the boss of this area. Anyway, watch the guy who's shooting crossbow bolts at you. And this is what happens when you run blindly into an area. You get massacred by 3 guys doing spam attacks and a crossbow bolt. The advantage is to a high reach weapon. Most of them can pierce enemies, and I just killed 3 of them at once. Anyway, there's that crossbow guy. And through that door is the wooden shield. I tried to show you guys that in my next video, but... I lost all the footage. But yeah, through that door is the wooden shield. It's really not all that good. It's low weight, fairly low stability, and it doesn't have very high physical resistance, which is very bad for this kind of... for a shield. So, it's really not worth your time at all. So we're going to go ahead and run down here, and I'm going to show you where the Undead Merchant is. And there's a guy with an axe. Yeah, so go ahead and kill him, and then go through this door here. And you can go ahead and talk to him. And most dialogue isn't that important, but I'll pause and show you it if it is. He shows you a variety of random items. That is the message thing. We're going to buy this key just to show you all the secrets. He also sells you some weapons, along with a bow that will be required, and some bolts, and the chain set, and some arrows as well. So there we go. We can now write our own messages, but we're not really going to do that in this playthrough because, well, I've never really found them to be profitable unless they're really, really awesome. Anyway, there's apparently a weapon ahead, so yeah, here's the pink guys. So we're just going to go ahead and run up this ladder here. And climb the ladder. Yeah, okay. Up and up and up and up and up. Yeah, it's probably the longer ladder. It's probably one of the longer ladders in the game, but anyway, here we go. And this is the throwing knife. It's basically an item that is a ranged weapon. This is the area I said that you could make that jump on, so just jump, and you'll land. Be careful not to fall, you'll have to go all the way back. And there's nothing. So right up here, and here's the light crossbow along with some bolts. That's a ranged weapon, but you can't manually aim it. It has to be fired like a lock-on. It has to be fired to an enemy that you have locked on to. Behind those barrels is a few things, but I don't think that's very important, so I'm not going to go back there. In all honesty, not much of the stuff we're getting here is very important because we already have most of the loot we're going to use. Anyway, the crossbow, you shoot it like so. It's not terribly awesome at all, but well, it's there. So it's a good ranged option, and you're going to want a ranged option if you're going to play this game. Not all enemies you want to fight on head-on. So now we're going to go stop by the bonfire and show you what humanity is all about. That's somebody that's begging for humanities. Generally, I don't listen to them. So there's a bonfire. Don't have enough souls to level up. There's where you attune your magic. We won't be using that much at all on this playthrough. Anyways, you can see the enemies have all respawned. And we gained a humanity up in the upper right. We're going to go ahead and consume another one. I'm going to show you some of the stat bonuses here. It raised your item discovery and curse resistance and a few other things, but other than the item discovery, most of them are mostly not that good at all. But we're going to use these two humanities on kindling and reversing hollowing. Now this is probably one of the more important things you're going to do in this game. It opens you up to the online play. I'll just tell you about that when we come across it, hopefully next video. Now, you can also kindle bonfires in this state. It increases the amount of Estus it gives you by 5. As you can see, our Estus flask has now gone up to 10. So we're in human form, we don't look like a beef jerky zombie anymore. And yeah, I'll talk to you more about online in the next video. And well, that's